Mr. Procrastination is not your friend. While life often throws up challenges to everyone regardless of whether or not they are on the autistic spectrum, last April and May were particularly challenging for me. In addition to my work responsibilities as the chef instructor of a high school culinary arts program, I had a summons for jury selection in Las Vegas. My teaching certificate needed to be renewed. I needed to renew my car registration through the Nevada Department of Motor Vehicles. I also needed to get a new mattress because my current one was giving me painful back problems with aching muscles. It is a natural tendency for people to postpone having to deal with problems. Social psychologists have conducted numerous studies to show that people often take the path of least resistance when it comes to dealing with things that they don't necessarily want to do. The tendency to procrastinate and to put off doing today what could just as easily be done tomorrow is a completely human trait. The problem with procrastination is that if you keep putting things off, you could run into serious problems. Here is an example. Last year, during the last week of school, a student visited me at the end of the day.
Is there anything I could do to bring up my grade?
Let me look at your grades, I told him as I swiveled my office chair to face my computer. Give me one moment. I logged in, accessed the district's grading software, opened his class, and scrolled down the roster. After looking at his grade point average, I checked for missing assignments. I also looked at his attendance. So let me get this straight. You're asking for makeup to raise your grades.
Yeah, I was thinking that I could do one assignment.
I shook my head. You're missing 3 unit tests and 22 production assignments. And that's just for this quarter. Out of the 50 days that made up this quarter, you missed 28 days of class. What did you think would happen with so many absences and no makeup?
So what's the deal? Are you gonna make me do 2 assignments?
I'm not going to let you do any assignments. You've missed so much of this semester that there's no way you could do enough makeup to pass this class.
But I don't wanna fail. My ma's gonna kill me if I fail another class.
The student was not happy. I am not sure if he understood that Mr. Procrastination was not his friend. I knew that he knew about the tests because I reminded him about the missing tests whenever he was physically in class.
Yeah, I'll take the stupid tests tomorrow.
The problem for this student is that tomorrow never came. He kept putting off 1 unit test and makeup assignment after another until he ran out the clock and was out of time. As for myself, I knew about the jury summons and car registration in March. I've known about the need to renew my teaching certificate since 2016 because the date of expiration was printed on the license. To this end, I've been taking an online college course each year to meet the continuing education requirement for teacher certification renewal. In theory, renewing my certificate should have been a simple matter of getting my fingerprint background clearance completed, submitting proof of continuing education, and completing the online renewal application. When I looked into getting fingerprinted, the state education system recommended that I go to Las Vegas to get printed at any one of several private security services. Since I didn't want to go to Las Vegas because it's a 3-hour round-trip drive, I avoided having to deal with this through procrastination. Although I could have done this last December during our 2-week break, the disadvantage of being a reclusive introvert is that once I returned home after work on Friday, December 17th, I found myself reluctant to leave home until Wednesday, January 5th, when I had to report back to work. The same thing happened when spring break rolled around. Although I could have gone to Las Vegas during this time, the moment I returned home after work on Friday, April 8th, I remained at home until Tuesday, April 19th, when it was again time to return to work. 2 days later, I got an email from the Nevada Department of Education. The NDE said that I was credit deficient in my application. I was further informed that unless this problem was rectified within the next 30 days, my application for renewal would be denied and I'd have to start the application process all over again. In desperation, I contacted my principal, who reminded me that I've taken all sorts of mandatory online training through the district. She advised me to print out a copy of all of my district workshop courses to submit to the NDE. She also told me that I could get fingerprinted at the local police station without having to go to Las Vegas. I followed both of her suggestions. Since I have now been with the Clark County School District for 9 years, I had 10 pages of workshops. Each workshop was worth 1 to 3 hours. After receiving a copy of these workshops, my teaching certificate was renewed for another 6 years. In regards to the jury summons, I didn't want to participate for several reasons. Going to Las Vegas would have involved a 3-hour round-trip drive. Not only would the summons have pulled me out of the culinary arts kitchen, but answering the summons would have forced me to sit in close proximity in a crowded jury room next to people who may or may not have been vaccinated. I also didn't want to speak about my autism in front of a lot of strangers and to have dozens of people staring at me as though I was some sort of weird curiosity. Since the summons had a phone number I could call to ask questions, I called the number and spoke to a nice lady who told me that I could be excused from the summons if I submitted proof of my disability by having a psychologist write a letter on my behalf. I subsequently contacted the clinical psychologist who had completed the original diagnosis. The doctor was happy to write me a letter. After receiving the letter as an email attachment, I forwarded it to the clerk who supervised the jury pool. Within 24 hours, the clerk had shared this letter with a judge who excused me from answering the summons. As for the mattress, I simply switched out the old one for the mattress that had been on the bed in the guest bedroom that I have never used. The old mattress is now leaning against a wall in the guest bedroom. I need to call the trash company to arrange for curbside pickup but haven't gotten around to doing so. 8 months have now passed.
If you found this video interesting and would like to support this channel, please click on the like and subscribe buttons. If you have thoughts regarding other topics that I could address in a future video, please feel free to add your suggestions to the comments below.